Seriously?
Hey guys, and welcome to this very special review video with myself, 6+ Stevo. Why is it special? It's special because we finally got our grubby little mitts on the 10th edition Ork Codex. Here it is in all its glory, with a lovely battle scene laid out here. This image, I've got to say, looks pretty damn cool. It's quite cool what they can do now with the stuff and that, yeah. I like this. But yeah, let's start from the beginning, shall we? Because I've got some things to say about this book. And it's a bit of a mixed bag, but overall, I'm got to say, first impressions on this are generally pretty good. But let's get into it. Let's take a look. First of all, we've got the front cover art here. I know some people have said they don't rate it that much. Do you know what? I think it's okay. I'm not like, whoa, I'm not blown away by it, but I'm not horrified by it. It's just an Ork war boss, you know, charging up in the battle. He looks fairly generic. Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with it. I think it's quite cool. I do like the cover. I like the way the sort of characters are picked out in gloss, and then the rest is matte behind. It's got a nice look to it. So when we open it up, we've got the usual screaming sort of Game of Thrones heads going on. They seem to be liking that on all the books lately. And we go here, the Orks, the Great Green Tide. What I'm not going to do, before we go any further on this, guys, what I'm not going to do in this is give like a really extensive page by page review. I think because I've gone through these first couple of pages, that's the impression I'm probably giving. No, we'd be here forever if I did that. No, what I'm going to do in this one is just give a sort of a general overview. I've had a good read of the lore. I've had a skim over the data cards. I've kind of looked through the detachment rules and stuff. And yeah, just want to give a general overview and, you know, a bit of a reaction to it, really. So we've got the contents here. We've got the Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaagghh pages 8 to 47. Then we've got the showcase, combat patrol rules, forces of the Orks, crusade rules, and then the points value. The points values that are as just worthless because they were already corrected before this book hit the shelves. Good old GW. So yeah, let's take a look, shall we? Another nice battle scene laid out here. Like I say, there's some cool images like that in here. And then we get on with the lore. And I've got to say, I've read through this lore, and I'm pretty sure it's all new stuff. Or you know, it's when I say new stuff, I mean it's freshly written for this book. I haven't noticed. Now, don't quote me. I might be wrong, going off memory here, but I don't notice any repeats of stuff that I've clearly read in other codexes. Now, I might be wrong on that, but you know, it has been a while since I read the last codex. But it was noticeable in the previous codexes. You know, they come and there was new bits in there, but there was lots of just rehashed stuff. Whereas this book seems like it's all fresh, written for the book. There's not much in here that's going to excite. You know, if you're a returning Ork player and you've been playing Orks for years, like this old dog, if you've been doing that, there's not much in here you're going to read that you don't already know. That it's a codex. The vast majority of this lore is just literally telling you at the basic level what Orks are. It's got a bit of a story there of Gazi. I say a story, it's barely a story, but you know, there's a few little tidbits and stuff about certain characters and events and things, but it's more just explaining their culture, explaining the clans, the beast snaggers, the speed freaks, the weird boys, Ork society. You know, it just gives a good general overview for sort of a starting player. But yeah, it wasn't a bad read. And then we get into the lore about the various clans here specifically. The Goths get, as you can probably predict, quite a bit. They get a good 5 6 pages, all about the clan Zagstruck, who we don't have rules for in here anymore, which is a real shame. Ghazi and the Goths. Then you got your evil sons. We got the bad moons. Just get 1 page each. Disgusting. But I've got to say, reading about the bad moons here, it's quite cool. It's, you know, if I'd read this for the first time today, it would make me want to do bad moons. It's a really good way of summing up what bad moons are actually. Yeah, so I think that's pretty well written. Death Skulls, Blood Axes. Blood Axes get a good couple of pages with Snickrot. Then we've got the Snake Bites with Mozrog, Scragbad and Zodgrod Wartsnagger, giving them a good 4 pages. And the Freebooters get a nice little read as well. And again, another character who is now relegated to Legends, but still gets a full page in the Codex. It's just almost like they're rubbing salt in the wound, isn't it? But it's a good way of letting people know, look, they still exist, and don't forget, you can still use them. They've still got the rules, they've still got the points, you know, you can use them, just not in tournament play. So then we've got some quite cool showcases. You've got the cool little scene there of bikers and buggies racing through like trenches and stuff. But the trouble is with these, they're all kind of studio armies, and they're all kind of, you know, we've seen a lot of this stuff before. So you're kind of just seeing those same miniatures with those same paint jobs over and over again. I did prefer it when we used to get more of like different armies and things in the Codex, and you know, it was a bit more interesting, I think, because it does get a bit samey. How many times have we seen these same images? Not to say they don't look nice and they're not really well painted, because they definitely are, but yeah, as you can see, it's quite a bit of pages there, but it's good inspirational stuff, I guess. Then we get on to the combat patrol rules, Morgrim's Butchers. We do get a little bit of painting like bits in it, which is good. Yeah, just shows you how to get started with them. So like I said, Codex sort of doubles up as almost like a getting started with your faction, doesn't it? So it's good that they're doing this. And then we get the rules for the combat patrol, blah 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 blah, and then we're on to the main event, Forces of the Orcs. So this is where all our data sheets and army rules are. So yeah, this is kind of the main focus I want to look at, and predominantly in this video we're going to be taking a look at the detachments. I really want to delve into that, because that is what most of us are waiting for with this Codex. We haven't had a huge amount of changes in terms of the units that are in there. The units that are still in there, obviously one big change is losing a few units and gaining one, yeah, the ones that remain, there's been a few changes but not much in terms of points or abilities and weapons and things. There is a few standout ones in there, but for the most part they're either the same or very, very similar to how they were in the index. The army rule is still the same. You still get the ability to charge even if you advance during a while. You add 1 strength and attack, and you got the 5+ invuln save. So no matter what detachment you use, you get the Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaagghh special rule. And where it gets fun though, and the thing that we're most interested in, is these detachment rules, because this is what's really going to make our armies feel a little bit more unique, a little bit more specialised, hopefully a bit more powerful and have a bit more punch. And we start off with this one, which is exactly the same as was in the index. So yeah, this has had a change of name. We're now called the War Horde. And yeah, it hasn't changed at all. And I mean at all. It's exactly the same. Everything in the army gets sustained hits 1 in combat. Now look, this detachment probably isn't going to get much play by a lot of people over the next couple of months. With the Codex being so new, everyone wants to try the new shiny stuff. But what I will say is this is the only detachment really that any Ork army can use, no matter how it's put together. This is like your vanilla Orks, generic Orks. A lot of the other detachments we're going to look at are really, really cool, and I've got so many positive things to say about them, but one negative I will say about them is that they are very specialized. So if you build a particular type of list, your choice is really going to be between two detachments for the most part. You're either going to choose this generic one or the specialized one that fits your army, because if you pick one of the ones that's not tailor-made for the list you've made, it's going to be potentially worthless, because it won't affect any of the units in your army, or at least very few of the units in your army. So yeah, it kind of restricts choice a little bit, because as you're going to see, the detachments lean really heavily into a particular theme. But overall, I think it's a good choice, and I think it's a much better choice doing this than it is by going clan by clan, because Orks generally in the lore, various clans will all get swept up into a war or become part of a tribe, and quite happily work together. So I think it was a bit sort of, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Bad Moon lists in the past, but I think this represents Orks in a better way, and it's much more interesting actually going down these different themes. So no matter what clan you play, you can play any of these detachments, and you can make it work, depending on what units are in your army, of course. But yeah, the War Horde, really, really good. It's got some cracking enhancements. I'm a big fan of Headwhopper's Kill Chopper, and the Super Cyborg body is always really good. The Unbridled Carnage is just a stratagem that you basically want to be using every turn if you can. Arda's Nails is another one, gets good survivability, and Here We Go is also a good one. But yeah, there's really not much not to like in this, other than the fact that it's got nothing new and exciting, and we're all really, really familiar with it now. So for that reason and that reason alone, I don't see many people playing this list. But it's probably the best detachment for the kind of all-rounder Ork army. If you want to have a bit of everything in your army, you want some beast snaggers, you want a death dread, you want some buggies, you want lots of boys, and you want some mega knobs. If you've got a list like that, your all-round list, this is the go-to. This is the one to have, because this will spread out the abilities across your whole army, across various different things, whereas the others will not do that. So, next one, the Big Hunt. This is obviously, as you can tell from the picture, this is your Beast Snagger themed list, and yeah, this one seems very potent. Beast Snaggers already are very, very good on the table. The Squig Hogs, the Norbon Smasher Squig that now comes as part of that unit rather than a separate character, are really, really good. The Beast Boss on Squigosaur, Mozrog, all really scary units to face on the table, as well as the Beast Snagger boys themselves. They perform really, really well. Yeah, they're powerful, and this only enhances that and makes them more powerful. So their special rule, the hunt is on, is at the start of your command phase, select one monster, vehicle or warlord, and then you select that as your prey. So he's marked as prey now for the rest of your turn. For the rest of the game, each time a Beast Snagger unit from your army declares a charge that includes your prey as one of the targets, you can re-roll the charge roll. And each time a Beast Snagger model from your army makes an attack that targets your prey, improve the armor penetration of that attack by 1. It's a really, really fun themed way. I love the way this is like a good, powerful rule to use in game, but it just fluff wise, it really brings out the character of the army. I've got to say, I think the way these detachments have been done for the Orks is one of the most orky ways they've ever done Orks, at least for a very, very long time. This is fantastic. And there's lots more like this to come in the other detachments. And it stays the same with the stratagems and the enhancements as well. They all feel right for this army. They really, really do. Like this one, for example, Instinctive Hunters. This is a really cool one. You use this at the end of your opponent's fight phase, and you can select one beast snagger unit from your army that is not within engagement range and remove it from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. I think this is really cool. So you've got some real sneaky ones like this Instinctive Hunter, like Stalking Tactics, and you've got some sort of more assault driven ones as well. It's really, really cool. But yeah, beast snaggers I think are going to be even more powerful than they have been currently in 10th, and they've already been pretty damn good in 10th. Next up, the Cult of Speed. This one, it's quite similar to 9th edition Evil Sons. So the detachment rule for the Cult of Speed is Adrenaline Junkies. Speed Freaks units from your army are eligible to shoot in a turn in which they advanced or fell back. Really useful. If you've got the buggies, you've got your bikes, your death copters, etc., you want them to be moving really, really fast all the time. You want to be on the move and just not having to worry, because some of them are packed with some nice guns. So the fact that you can just fire away without any worry is really good. Just that alone ups the damage potential of orcs. You know, quite often we want to just charge and get headlong into combat, but if you've got units that have got some decent firepower at the same time, it's really useful to be able to just not worry about that. Just do your full movement without any cares. And we've got some cool abilities here as well. This is definitely one of the there isn't an actual like shooty detachment in this. You know, there's not like a Dakar mob detachment or something, which I must admit at first I was a little bit disappointed about. I kind of still am, really, but this is one of the more shooty of the detachments in here, for the fact that they can do it whilst on the move. We've then got rules like this, like Dakar Storm for 1 CP. So you use this in your shooting phase on 1 Speed Freaks unit. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have the Sustained Hits 1 ability, while targeting any unit within 9 inches, they have the Sustained Hits 2 ability instead. Really, really nice for 1 CP. Being able to get a lot of sustained hits, just like we have been getting in the combat phase with the War Horde. Really, really nice that is. And the fact that you're going to be able to get within 9 inches quite easily if they can always move and shoot. So yeah, very, very cool. It's really good. You've also got some cool ones here, which is the one I liked. The Faster Than Use. Orcs infantry model only. Each time the bearer's unit disembarks from a transport after that transport has made a normal move, the bearer's unit is still eligible to declare a charge this turn. So that's your only real way to get truck boys. Faster Than Use, giving that enhancement like on a war boss with a load of boys in a truck or in a battle wagon. Really, really cool. Yeah, it's good. If you like the Speed Freaks, this is your obvious one. Like I said, if you've got a list full of buggies and bikes and things, it's either this or the War Horde that you've been using currently anyway. That's really is only your 2 options. Moving on. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to be biased. This is my favourite. Like I was saying with the other two, Cult of Speed and the what's it called again? The Big Snag one, the Big Hunt. Really good, strong themes, stratagems, everything that makes sense. This one though, by far the most fun. This is going to be a fun list to play, and they've done a clever thing with this as well. What they've actually done is kind of created 2 detachments in one here, because if you want to do grot themed lists, this is your list, this is your detachment for that. The reason being is that through this, grots are battle line which is fantastic. That means you can have up to 6 squads of grots, 20 grots in a squad. You've got some fantastic stratagems like conniving runts that is just 1 CP, and basically what it does is when the enemy get near you, you can move away, but when you move away you also roll a d6, and on a 4+, they suffer some mortal wounds. So you've got 40-point grot units being able to throw out mortal wounds. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But that's obviously not the main theme of what this is about. This is a dread mob, and their detachment rule, as you can see, it takes up a huge amount of space. Basically, this affects mechs, so your mech boys, your big mech with shock attack gun, and the legends units like the big mech with KFF, etc. Orcs walker and grots vehicle units. So that means this affects death dreads, grot vehicles, so like your killer cans, your mech guns, and a lot of the legends units as well, like your grot tanks, grot mega tanks, etc. And any unit that a mech has joined. So it's not just the big mech himself or the mech boy, it's the unit they join as well. They gain this effect, and this effect is random. So you roll a d6, a d3, sorry, and although they do say a d6, I don't know why they didn't say a d3, but it is basically a d3. So on a 1 to 2, the unit gets sustained hits 1, nice. On a 3 to 4, the unit gets lethal hits, also nice. 5 to 6, each time an attack is made with this weapon on a critical wound, improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 2. Really, really nice. All 3 of them are good. There's not one shit one there. They're all going to be welcome no matter what you roll. Fantastic. But you don't have to roll. You can choose to choose it instead. If you do that though, the weapons become hazardous, and if they're already hazardous, they become doubly hazardous, activating on a 1 or a 2. I just think this is fantastic. It's such a cool rule. It's really going to help with the shooting weapons. It's really going to help buff them, but throw in that really orky randomness as well, and the fact that you can push it a little bit if you really want to go for a particular thing, but you push your luck a bit so you can overheat the weapons and potentially destroy your own stuff. There's nothing more orky than that. It's so cool, and you can end up pushing it even further because you've got, in the enhancements, you've got some really cool abilities here. But I think the best and most interesting one is the press it faster. Press it faster. Give it to one of your mechs. These all, by the way, the enhancements can only be given to mechs. So if you're running a dread mob, your war boss, your weird boys, anything else, they can't have any enhancements at all. So there is some really serious restrictions here. But this press it faster basically means you can do this twice. So once you've rolled for it, you get your normal result, but your boss with this, he can roll it again, and if he rolls differently, he adds that benefit as well. So you could end up with sustained hits 1 with AP on the critical hits, so or lethal hits and sustained hits, etc. If you do roll the same thing, you don't get it, but you can do that every turn. So yeah, we like that one. It is expensive though, it's 35 points. And then we've got other abilities as well. Daka improves your death dreads and your cans shooting, but you can choose to push that ability, add in the hazardous. You've got super fueled boiler. You do that during the movement phase until the end of your turn. You can re-roll advanced rolls made for your unit, and ranged weapons in that unit have the assault ability. So this is a really, really good one for things like killer cans that only have a 6-inch movement. They've got really nice guns, but they've also got really nice combat. You want to get the cans in combat, but you also want to shoot with them. This is your one. They can run up the board, firing away with their guns. Fantastic. Yeah, this is great. I cannot wait to try out my first game with this and run my dread mob with these rules. There's some really nice combinations in there. I'm seeing interesting ways that you can join the mech with various units like your tank busters or your mech guns. and buff them with this ability, or put them in a boys unit, your big mech, put them in a boys unit. Make shooter boys good again. It's been a while since shooter boys have been good. This can actually make them potentially a lot more viable. Yeah, dread mob's going to be such good fun, and I think you're going to see a lot more death dreads and cans on your local tables, and possibly a lot more grot themed lists as well, which I wholeheartedly welcome. Then we've got the Green Tide. This is classic boys before toys, and yet really is boys before toys, because all these stratagems only work on the boys unit. Literally just boys, not beast snagger boys, nothing like that, just boys. And the army rule as well only works on boys, but these rules and these stratagems are bloody good. So if you love running a horde list of just as many boys as you can, which would be 120, then this is the list for you. But like I said, you could also use the war horde one, and that would be really good as well, and affect your other stuff as well. So yeah, this is only really going to be the one for people that really want to run that horde list. But I want to try this. I want to play against this. This just looks like a lot of fun. So the detachment rule is mob mentality. Each time an attack targets a boys unit from your army, models in that unit have a 5+ invuln save against that attack. So they don't even need the WAR, they've just got a 5+ invuln all game, which is really good. And if it contains 10 or more models, you re-roll a saving throw of 1. So you're re-rolling 1s on your fucking invuln saves. That's bloody good. Yeah, over the full 5 turns, 120 boys with 5 up invulns, re-rolling 1s. They're going to be a lot harder to take out, and they're going to last so much longer. And then you've got, where have we got here? There it is. Come on, lads. So we've got this as well. You use this in your command phase on a boys unit, and it's 1 CP, and you return up to D3 plus 2 destroyed models, excluding character models, so literally just the boys. But yeah, D3 plus 2, so a minimum of 3, maximum of 5 returned for 1 CP. So they've got to get through those invuln saves, and then you can be bringing them back. This would be great fun to play against Necrons, show them how it feels. Yeah, really cool. Absolutely love these. You've got some cool ones here that affect your bosses as well, with the enhancements, like Raucous Warcaller. Orcs infantry model only. While the bearer is leading a unit, that unit always counts as containing 10 or more models for the purposes of your detachment rule and any stratagems you use. So that's really cool. So they will constantly get the buff. So yeah, these and all of these are like, this is really focused on buffing the unit around them, more than buffing the character themselves. So it really does just focus on the heart and soul of an orc army, the boys. Great stuff. Again, really strong themed, really makes sense, and really encouraging you to like really go down that theme. And then we got the opposite of that. We got the bully boys. So it's good to see bully boys getting a mention again. They've not been a thing, you know, in proper rules for quite some time. And this is the elites. This is all about knobs, mega knobs. This would be a great list for Ghazi. Absolutely fantastic powerhouse of a list with Ghazi leading it. And yeah, so for the most part, or for actually all the parts here, all these stratagems just work on knobs and mega knobs. So yeah, I think you would only want to use this if you are running a lot of knobs and mega knobs. Like, I probably wouldn't choose to run this if you just had like 1 unit of knobs and 1 unit of mega knobs. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I think, again, to get the most out of these detachments, you want to go all in. But this detachment rule is called "The Boss is Watching." At the start of a battle round in which you have not called a Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaagghh, if you have one or more war boss models on the battlefield, you can call a Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaagghh for a second time this battle. When doing so, that second Waaaaaaaaaaaaagghh only counts as having been called for war boss, nobs and mega nobs units from your army. So yeah, great ability. Just from using like the Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaseeing the power of having a second Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaa and Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaa get the benefits of a Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaa all of your army is going to be made up from, in which case you're just getting 2 Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaawe've got great enhancements like your war boss in mega armor. I'm real jealous of this. I'm well jealous that this isn't in the dread mob list, but yeah, war boss in mega armor, his unit gains the deep strike ability. So yeah, deep strike in a war boss in mega armor with a load of mega nobs tooled up to the 9s. Yeah, great stuff. And there's some absolutely fantastically powerful stratagems here. We've got 2 arrogant to die for 1 CP. You use this in the shooting phase on a unit of nobs or mega nobs until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit is destroyed, if that model is not shot or fought this phase, roll 1d6, adding 2 to the result if a Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaa on a 5+ to not remove that destroyed model from play, it can shoot or fight after the attacking unit is finished making its attack, and then it is removed from play. So basically like the what's it called, the one for the War Horde, the characters one, Orks, what was it, Orks is never beaten, that is it, isn't it? Yeah, no, wrong one. Here we are. Yeah, Orks is never beaten. It's basically like that, but for your nobs and mega nobs, not just your character. Pretty good stuff. Probably not one of the best ones in there actually. But you got ones like this: armed to the teeth, 1 nobs or mega nobs unit until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes an attack, re-roll a hit roll of 1. If a Waaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaa:::::::꯫ if they're going in with like kill saws, imagine like twin linked kill saws, mega nobs with twin kill saws, they would be re-rolling the hit and then re-rolling the wound, so they would just almost all be hitting and wounded. They would be devastating. So that's, I'd say that's a lovely little combo. Combined with this, yeah, good. It's a really hard hitting list. It would be fucking terrifying to be on the receiving end of this, wouldn't it? It really would. That's a list I would worry about facing. And there we go. There we have the 6 detachments: Bully Boys, Green Tide, Dread Mob, Cult of Speed, the Big Hunt, and the War Horde. All really good. We've got a 1 generic one and then 5 highly specialised ones, pretty much covering all the different ways to play. And you can see how a lot of these would fit the themes of the existing armies. Like your Goths could very easily be Bully Boys, or possibly Green Tide. Snake Bites would be great for Green Tide actually. The Dread Mob, obviously fantastic for Bad Moons. Grot Rebels, Cult of Speed, obviously Evil Sons. Beast Snaggers can just, Beast Snaggers. And the War Horde is just a great one for anyone really, because it's just, although we're all a bit bored of it now because we've been using it for so long, I'm sure a lot of people will end up coming back to this just for the simplicity of it and the fact that you can have whatever kind of list you want and make use of some really quite hard hitting stratagems like Unbridled Carnage. So yeah, really, really cool. So that's the main part. We then get onto the data sheets. Now I'm not going to go over these in much detail because I'm going to be doing my playlist soon, and covering each of these in series in great detail. So I'm not going to go over, and we've obviously got a new big mech in there. He's got some really cool rules. He's got a shock booster, so the unit he joins can basically jump. They can advance and jump through terrain. They can, run through walls. He opens up a little teleport and stuff, so they can boost around the place. That's going to be very, very useful. And although they've removed some characters, you can see how many pages I'm flipping through here with multiple characters per page. We still have a lot of characters. The boys have been improved. The boys have now got sticky objectives, so they can capture an objective, move off. As long as the enemy doesn't come to it, that objective stays within your control. The grots, they haven't really changed, but if you're using Dreadmob, they've changed a lot and they're really good. We've got our knobs, we've got the mega knobs, like I say, bully boys, twin kill saws. I think that would be absolutely devastating. Tank busters, they didn't fix tank busters. They did drop the points on them though, so fair play on that, but yet still no options, still can't increase the squad size, still stuck with that loadout. Hasn't been much changes across the board here. Flash kits now, if you're tournament wise, they don't have bad luck now to buff them, which is a real shame. Squig Hog boys have been through a big change. The knob on Smasher Squig now just comes as the leader of that unit, which, yeah, it does make sense. It totally does. And the Beast Boss on Squigosaur can now join this unit. That would be terrifying. I am going to miss giving this guy enhancements though. I used to love giving this guy Headwhopper's Kill Chopper, so I'm going to miss doing that. Warbikers are very cheap. And a really good sort of harassment annoying unit for dirt cheap. The truck's awesome, the battle wagon's awesome, both really good. The Death Dread's astoundingly good. I love the Death Dread. Death Dread's amazing, won't hear a bad word said about it. And now we get to add all those buffs onto it and make it more random and more killy. Yes, yes, yes. Killer cans. Killer cans have changed a bit. The shooty power trip, I feel, has taken a bit of a nerf. Each time this unit selects to shoot, you can roll 1d6. On a 1 to 2, this unit suffers d6 mortal wounds. On a 3 to 4 until the end of the phase, add 1 to the strength characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit. Nice. On a 5 to 6 until the end of the phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit. Also very nice. But d6 mortal wounds, ooh, that's a 1 in 3 chance, along with the other things that we've got, like in the dread mob, the stratagems and things where you can push it and put the hazardous ability. So you could be throwing out some mortal wounds on this, then you can do your shooting and then suffer more hazardous results because of the other buffs. I mean, I don't know, it's going to be fun. I mean, I say a nerf, I don't think it's a nerf, I think it's a buff, but it's a fucking risky buff that kind of makes it a nerf. I don't know, but it's going to be fun as hell, isn't it? So I was kind of putting my competitive head on there. Look, it's going to be, it's risky. You get high stakes, high rewards. 1 to the strength, and you can, this is optional. So I think you're going to choose it when you really need it. Adding 1 to the attacks when you really, I don't know, yeah. Full mob of 6 of these with like rockets. You get the buff of adding 1 to the attacks and getting just a load more, another 6 attacks. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And Grotzukas are actually good now. Grotzukas have a point to exist. They're actually pretty damn good. They've got the blast special rule. They ignore cover. They get D3 plus 3 attacks, so a minimum of 4 attacks. Strength 6, AP minus 1, damage 1. They are now finally better than the can shooters in a lot of respects. Not in the range, they don't get the devastating wounds, but you're going to be hitting with so many more with more AP. So yeah, I would actually put Grotzukas ahead of can shooters now, with these buffs as well. yeah, good work on the killer cans. We've got the Death Copters, mech guns. They've really done something weird with mech guns. In particular, the custom mega cannon is now being dropped to AP -1. I think this sucks. I think that's a terrible decision that makes no sense. I know they've done it to make people choose the other weapons, but that's a shit reason. It really is. It's just buff the other weapons up. Don't, you know, I don't know, or reduced its amount of shots or something, but the fact that it's got less AP than its smaller brethren is just dumb. I just think it's terrible. It doesn't work. The buggies, the planes, the Waz bomb's good, the Dakka jet's good, the burner bomber and the blitzer bomber are terrible. The blitzer bomber in particular, just they keep to make it worse and worse and worse. It doesn't get to use its bomb until turn 3, and even then it only hits on a 4+. Waiting 3 turns to do it. If you manage to make it there and it's still alive, you get a 50-50 shot for D6 mortal wounds, and you know you're going to roll a 1. So yeah, it's got the most lackluster firepower of any of the fighters, including the burner. My poor old blitzer bomber. It just, when will you catch a break? Morkanaut, Gorkanaut, they're going to really benefit from the Dread Mob rules. They really are. They're going to benefit so beautifully from that. The Deathstorm Mega Shooter in particular, that's going to be a lot of fun with those buffs. We've got the Kill Rig and the Hunter Rig, the Stomper, the Big Ed Boss Bunker, and that's our only bit of terrain now. The workshop is gone, which is a real shame because it was a cool looking kit. And then we've got Crusade rules. I've only just skimmed over this because I don't play Crusade, but I must admit, just having a little skim over some of the bits, the different abilities and, I don't know, requisitions and stuff you get, there's some cool stuff in there actually. And there's some bits that make me miss some of our old shiny gubbins that we used to have. Things like the Shootiest Blaster. Yes please, I want some of that. The Crushing Armour, who remembers that from 9th edition? Oh, and look, there's more Res Mecha's Redder Paint. Yeah, they're all there, look. The Iron Gob. So if you're wondering where these went, they all went into Crusade. And this is cool. Nice bit of classic 2nd edition Ork artwork cover. An iconic cover. It's so metal. It's just badass. We've got the various Crusade badges. We got Ambitious Boss, that's your Dreadwire Gaming. Rampaging Big Boss, that is your Hobby Git. And the Grand Warlord is of course moi. The old Saga with the Beast artwork. And then the points. Now, the points. Oh boy. Don't try scanning this either, you fuckers. Don't try scanning it. I've already fucking scanned it, so you can pack that in. The points values. Now, these are all being corrected, updated before this hit the shelves. And thank fuck they did, because look what they were trying to charge. Fucking Death Dread, 155 bloody points. Are you taking the piss? 155 points. No, we had killer cans, 6 models, 290 points. Gorkanaut, 295. A lot of stuff very expensive in here, and a lot of stuff is reduced quite nicely from this. Some of them are the same, but yeah, some of them gone up as well actually. Like mech guns are more expensive now than in here. So yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with these points. We've got the detachment points as well. I think they're the same. I don't think they've been corrected. The most expensive one in there is the Faster Than Use, which gives you truck boys, and the Press It Faster for the Dread Mob to double up on the enhancements. But yeah, they're expensive for a reason, because they're fucking good and they're fun. But yeah, good amount of choice there. And then lastly, we've got our Orcs name generator. I don't have a dice on me, so I can't do it, unfortunately. I'll just do it with my finger. Who have we got? We got Snark Rat, Stomp Crumper. there you go. Snarkrat Stomp Scrumper. That's quite a cool name, actually. I always like it when they put these in there. It's a cool little thing to have. If you're struggling for a name, just roll off and see, or you just have a look through them and it can inspire you. And then, yeah, that's it. That's the end. Again, no use trying. No use trying. Already done. So, clear off. Back cover. There you go. So, yeah, all in all, good stuff. Look, I think this book's great. I think I think they've really nailed it with this one. Don't get me wrong. Would I like more? Yes. Would I have preferred that certain characters didn't get ripped out of it? Yes. But they're still in Legends. You know, it's a selfish point of view. But look, I don't play tournaments. At least not big official tournaments anyway. I generally just play for fun. And if I do leagues and tournaments, it's just with friends and it's for shits and giggles, and usually Legends are allowed. In fact, I've never played with anyone ever who has ever questioned me or not wanted me to play Legends units. It's never happened. And so for me, it's a kind of a non-issue. GW did update the Legends units very quickly. Upon release of this, which is really, really cool. I'll tell you what I'll do actually is I'll pop a link down in the description to where you can download the Legends units and points from. Well worth doing, because a lot of the stuff that you miss has been moved over to there, and it hasn't changed very much, and the points are still much the same, so they're still very, very playable. And things like the big mech with KFF will benefit from the Dread Mob rules. Things like I don't know, like your war boss on bike and things like that will benefit from the Speed Freak rules. And so yeah, still very, very usable stuff in there. So yeah, well worth a look, because Legends is pretty much doubles the amount of units choice that you've got. Just so much good stuff in there. So use them. Don't worry about tournaments. If you're not playing them, don't worry about them. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it shows a bit of effort on GW's part. A real effort, and it feels like this book has been written by people that understand what orcs are and what they're about. And I think GW in this case should be applauded for really encouraging people to theme lists and create strong themes on their lists. And I think this possibly goes a little bit unnoticed sometimes, but I think that's fair play to them on that. Fair play to them. Having said all of that, does this book really have a place anymore? Because this is kind of an outdated thing now, isn't it? I've had a read through it. I like what I've read. I think it's a nice book, well put together. I'm barely ever going to read this book, I'll be honest with you. I've got the data cards. I'm going to use them in game. I'll have it there for the detachment rules, but I will probably use the app for that much more. So yeah, is there really a reason for codexes to exist anymore? I don't know. I'm not so sure. But you let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And what do you think of this codex? How do you think this compares to older codexes, more recent ones, or ones going way back or whatever? Well, how do you think this codex compares to any of those? Please let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, this is 6+ Stevo, signing out.